So it's week 7, and this week I'm getting back to more regular patterns of running because last week I had a recovery week. I didn't have any runs scheduled. That was whilst I was out in Cornwall. I ended up doing a couple of runs out there, but I didn't do any intervals or any hill repeats or any race pace. It was just easy, relaxed runs to give me a bit of time to recover. So this is where I'm at with my training plan at the moment. In fact, it feels very satisfying because I've now completed this first page and I can turn that over in a second for week 7. So as you can see, weeks 1 to 5, they were regular weeks. Week 6, last week, that was a recovery week. That coincided with going away to Cornwall, and I just kind of penciled in where I did a couple of runs there. And then week 7, I'm getting on to my regular runs. I'm going to do some hills. I'm going to do my intervals, some easy pace stuff, shorter easy pace. And then I'm also doing, towards the end of the week, 16 miles at race pace. So that's the plan for this week. I'm actually going to mix it up slightly, so I'm not going to do it in the order that I've got on my plan. And if you've tuned into my vlogs before, you'll know that I'm not averse to kind of mixing it up where needed. You know, if you've got other commitments, or if you're not feeling right for, say, a hill session or an interval session, feeling a particular niggle or ache, then I'm more than happy to kind of mix it up, which is what I'm doing this week. I'd usually be doing hill repeats on a Monday. So today is Monday. I'd usually be doing that, but what I'm going to do instead is my 4-mile easy run today, and that's because I've been having a bit of a niggle in my back, in my lower right side of my back, and that's for a couple of reasons, I think. So before I went away on holiday to Cornwall, I was moving flat and I was doing some heavy work and heavy lifting, which my back wasn't used to. And then after that, I had 3 days of surfing where I was kind of arching my back to like get up on the board in a way that I usually wouldn't. And that hasn't really gone away. It's kind of been there in the background. It's fine for walking around, but as soon as I start running, I can, really feel that kind of pounding on the right side of my back. So I'm now doing some physio. I'm making sure I don't ignore it. I'm trying to kind of reintroduce the movement and build up the strength in my back so running doesn't feel too arduous. So I'm about 1.5 miles into this easy run. Well, so-called easy run. That 1.5 miles, it's been a bit sore on the back, but feels like my back is kind of loosening up a little bit now, getting used to it. But I think it might be a bit more physio that we need, maybe a bit more rest on it as well. Yeah, really not feeling it today. Back hasn't really loosened up. About 3 miles in or something, really having to try and use a lot of willpower today. It's funny because this was down as an easy run, 4-mile easy run it's called, but it's interesting because often we talk about easy runs, they're often not that easy, and sometimes you might see, oh, someone's done an easy run on Strava, but that's where kind of Strava doesn't really reflect that qualitative feel of the run, what it is like to actually do the run. You might see that, oh, someone's running at their usual pace, but it could be that actually a lot more hurdles, figuratively speaking, that they had to overcome. So yeah, this has just been one of those days, I think, and I know that I've just got to think philosophically about this, that all training cycles have their ups and their downs. This is one of the downs, just that aching in my back, but it's 7 weeks of 12. Things will change, and I know that with other blips I've had before, I've come through them, managed to achieve my goals, get what I set out to do. I've just got to take it easy, not try and rush things, and hopefully I'll have some better runs later this week. So for anyone who's tuned in to my previous vlogs, you'll know that I like to bring you a point of interest each week on one of my runs, just something interesting, intriguing, odd or bizarre. And for this week, I'm bringing you 3 odd shops that I found in Brighton lanes. Oh, someone's got the Death Star painted on the side of their house there. It looks a bit ominous. So odd shop number 1, it's this bonsai tree shop, and it basically sells miniature trees, bonsai trees. So if you're looking to buy a miniature tree, then this is the place to go. When I went along, sadly it was closed actually, just my luck this week. But as you can see, they have lots of different styles of miniature tree available. So odd shop number 2 is Oddballs, and this is where you can get skates, skateboards, you can get a unicycle if you want one, you could get some fire juggling clubs, and you can even get a flaming hula hoop. Odd shop number 3 is Snooper's Paradise, and it's probably my favourite, probably saved the best till last here. You can get your photo done in there, in this retro photo machine, and otherwise you can just snoop around, as the name suggests, Snooper's Paradise, and you can just find all sorts of odd, random objects. So these are some of the things that they've got to offer, a whole variety of different objects. You can spend hours in here, so you can see they've got some skulls, some tables there made out of records, things like this, and various other oddities as well. Okay, it's now Wednesday and I'm about to head off for my second run of the week. I'm hoping that this run today goes much better than the one that I did on Monday. That was quite a painful run with my lower back giving me problems. But yesterday, so Tuesday, I did a bit of swimming and I did some light physio on it as well. So I'm hoping that it's loosened up a bit. I'm going to do 4 miles today with some hill reps in there, but kind of steady ones, not kind of blitzing it too much or going too fast, and then I'll just see how it is, and then hopefully that should be an indication of, you know, whether I can continue with my runs for later on this week. So here goes. Okay, that's all done for today. So much better today, felt much better in comparison to Monday. It was still kind of there in the background, my lower back. It was kind of telling me not to push it and not to have too intense a run, but just felt much more comfortable. But I listened to it, I didn't push it. I did three hill reps rather than 5 or 6, and also went a bit slower as well, but just pleased to get the run done and feel a little bit more comfortable. Well, definitely more comfortable in comparison to Monday. There was a couple of things that I found made it more comfortable today, and one of those was actually I was wearing my belt, so this belt, rather than my backpack which I was wearing on Monday, and that felt like it was supporting my back a bit. And the other thing was just that I had tried to make sure I had shorter strides today, and that kind of relieved some of the pressure on my back as well. So I'll monitor it later this week, see how it goes, but overall positive. Consistent intervals today. I think I had an interval that was like 7:10, interval that was like 8. Just the wind is really throwing me around today. I don't even know if you can hear me actually, but definitely hard going this way into the wind. But good news is I'm about to go back the other way in a second, and then the wind should be behind me. Wow, it makes such a difference to have the wind behind you. Flying along now, it's really tough going the other way. But this feels very good. I have to remember that it's a race day, because if there's like a westerly breeze and strong wind like there is today, then yes, you might have to spend a bit more time when you're running into the wind. When you've got headwind and you've got tailwind behind you, that can really kind of even out your pace. So I have to remember this one. So third run of the week all done. Reps were wildly inconsistent, but in the end I think I probably averaged out generally what I'm looking for with reps, about 7:15 per rep, so 7:15 per mile per rep, if that makes sense. So that's 3 runs done. I've got 1 run left this week, and I'm hoping that my back holds out for that. Felt better today, so I feel like this week with runs 1, 2 and 3 they've got kind of gradually better in terms of how my back's hurt. So hopefully for the run this Sunday, which was meant to be 16 miles at race pace, I'm going to see how that goes and maybe make it a half marathon. Play it by ear depending on how my back is feeling towards the later stages of that. But yeah, it feels like it's been a very topsy-turvy week overall. I mean, if I can get the 60 miles done this Sunday, that would have done the miles for this week, with just lots of kind of chopping and changing and kind of, you know, altering things slightly just to make sure that my back's not rough after everything. So on to Sunday, that'll be my last run of the week. That'll be week 7, marathon training done. Red sky this morning, should have been a warning. It's been pretty horrible conditions out today. I'm about 12 miles into my 16-mile race pace today. Managed to keep up the average pace, but going one way has been really good, getting into the wind. So, yeah, very short shot today. Trainers are soaked through. Chafing on my left nipple. Shouldn't have worn this top, but I'm going to be able to finish it off, and then that'll be this week's miles sorted. So just about 3.5 miles to go now, and then I'll be done for the week. So sub 1:45 half marathon there, so I'm on track. Just a few miles left, and then I'll be up to my 16 miles for my longer run at race pace today. So last 1.5 miles is into the wind. That's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I feel like I can do it. Okay, final run of the week done. Managed to do 16 miles at race pace, so average 7:55 per mile, which I'm really pleased with based on the conditions today. So that very much felt like a run I just needed to get out of my system, because I had the 13 miles a couple of weeks ago, which I was trying to do at race pace, but due to the heat just blew out completely. So really pleased to have done my final run of the week, the longer run, and been able to maintain marathon pace for it. Back didn't feel too bad as well, so I think it's got progressively better each run I've done this week, and I actually reordered my runs a little bit. So I had the easy run at the beginning of the week, and I also tried to space them out as well. So my runs were Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday this week, just to give my back a chance to recover. So overall it's been a tough week with injury and with the conditions, crazy winds, but onwards and upwards to next week, week 8. And for next week I'll be away in Wales, so I'll be bringing you hopefully some nice Welsh trails in South Wales. So I'm going to go and stretch and warm down. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next week for week 8.